Hello and welcome to Andy's Shed Live for this Sunday the 21st of March 2021. This is Series 8, Episode 12 of Andy's Shed Live. Hello there, welcome to the show. Yes, it is indeed Sunday evening once again, and we're back with the worst phone ever. Today, if you're following what we did last week, you'll know that we started to restore what we at the time thought was the worst phone ever, i.e. the phone in the worst condition that we'd ever had. But well, that may not necessarily be the case. Yeah, we will see. Now, there's a heck of a lot of latency on YouTube today for some reason. It's not streaming terribly well. So if the stream drops out, don't worry, we will come back, and we'll come back on this stream. So don't click away or anything. Just refresh the stream or whatever, and hopefully we'll be able to come back. Right, let's see if I can find you all in the chat. Where's the chat gone? Hello, chat. YouTube have changed their app, and I now can't easily see the chat. Where is it? Just bear with me a second. I shall try and sort it. We'll get there eventually, I swear. Right, and there's me. Right, where is the chat? Chat, there it is. Right, so who's in the chat tonight? We've got Christopher, we've got Dominic, we've got Jimmy, we've got Fat Hobbit, we've got Wesley. What we're all saying today, is everybody saying hello? Hello, everybody. Christopher says, did you get my email about the railway phone? I did, and I've also got your pictures as well of the other phones which are coming up in a minute, Christopher. Can't turn them round though, half of them come out sideways for some reason. I'm having real trouble turning them round. Fat Hobbit says hello Andy, Wesley says evening Andy, evening everyone. Somebody, I can't see it now on the chat, but somebody said, how did the jab go? Jab's not until this Tuesday, whoever it was said that. It's coming up this Tuesday, the jab, at around about 10 to 7, I think. Guess where I'm going for my coronavirus jab? I'm going to a Wix superstore. Yes, Wix, the builder's merchant, DIY place, yeah. No idea why, no idea how that works, but apparently I've got to go to Wix at Mansfield, so there you go. So yeah, I'll let you know how that goes as time progresses. We've had some pictures sent in to us this week. Would you like to see what we've had sent? Right. Can I go back? Yeah, I hope. All right. I'm trying to go back to the beginning of these because it's going to cycle around, isn't it? Right, here we are. Right, here's the beginning. This was sent in to us by Christopher. And he's just saying to me, CNET's not working. No, it's not working at the minute, Christopher. It'll be back online after the show because we're having so much bandwidth trouble with YouTube. We've had to knock it off because we're using all the bandwidth to send the stream out today. So we've had to knock it off while we're on the show, but it will be back on. I've literally had to pull the plug out of it because we need all the bandwidth for the stream. And CNET does gulp quite a bit of it. But yeah, right. Well, here we are. Here's Christopher's photos, and that is sent to us. No, it's like an N1900 of some variety. No, it's not. No, it's a 706, isn't it? An early 706. very early 60s one, I believe, if that is correct, with a dial 12 on it. And that's how he's got it wired in. He's actually got it wired in the proper way, with the proper little junction box that they used to have years ago, stuck in exactly the right place on the skirting board as well. And there's the line that goes off to the telephone exchange, runs under the carpet. And there's another junction box, that time for the red 746 that he got the other week. And one of those phones is a normal phone, and the other phone is connected to CNET apparently. So it's got both of those working there. Right, this is where it gets awkward, because this is where things go on their side, and I do everything I can to turn these photos round, and for some reason I just cannot turn these photographs round. They come out the right way round in every other program, but as soon as I go into this software that I used to do in the stream, they come out sideways again. But you get the gist. This is Christopher's N1970, is it? And this is a bit of a weird phone, this, as you'll see as we go through these pictures, because when you take the top off, it's like nothing you've seen before. It's got this strange sort of collar around the dial, and everything's kind of built on a circuit board behind the dial. You can see there's nothing sort of in the back there, and the bells are in the back rather than being in the front. It's quite bizarre how that is built. Yeah, it's a really strange phone that. I've not seen one like that before. They must have done it for a reason, but what the reason is, I do not know. And underneath, it's totally different to anything you've ever seen before, to any 706 clone you've ever seen. It's got a totally different base plate on it. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. I've not seen one like that before. So if anybody knows anything about that, it's an N1970B36T. If anybody knows anything about that, get in touch with us. And that's the standard way of holding the dial bezel on. At least something about it's standard. Even that is odd. That says Malaya on there, Turkey. So I wonder if it's come from somewhere strange. I wouldn't like to say. But there's a few more photos of it. Now these next batch of photos were sent to us by Kieran, who's having a bit of a problem with one of these compact phones. He bought this bell box for it the other day because he's having trouble with the handset. He's having trouble making himself heard, I think, at the other end. I can't remember if it's the speaker or the microphone in the handset that's not working. And he's changed them and put various new ones in, and still it doesn't work. So we're wondering if it's wired up right. Now, there's a good shot of the wiring. Unfortunately, I can't tell you off the top of my head if that's right or not. And I don't think I've got a picture. I don't think I've got a still of the wiring for one of those. So I'm going to have a look into this to see if the wiring is correct or not. But this is the wiring inside the phone that you're looking at here. And I'm not sure if that's right or not in there. I couldn't tell you just off the top of my head. I would have to research that. But very strange how the handset splits on these compact phones as well. It kind of splits in half. In some ways it's good, because it means you can easily get at everything. And there we are, back to the beginning again. So that's I think we're back to the beginning. Yeah, we are. So that's all the phones and things that have been sent in to us this week, basically. Right, and remember, if you want to send us any photos, send them in if you've got the email address. If you've not got the email address, I don't give it out on here, because if I give it out on here I will get loads of spam. But you can initially make contact to us by the contact us form on the website, which you'll find here at andyshed.coldpress.net, and that's the place to go for back episodes of the shows as well. Right, what is everybody saying here in the chat? Fat Hobbit says he had his jab last week, got slight flu symptoms for a few hours after. That means you had the Oxford AstraZeneca jab then, Fat Hobbit, I'm guessing. Dominic says might be able to pick up some methylated spirits while you're there for your acetone restoration. Oh yeah, while I'm at Wicks, yeah, I might be able to, yeah, I might get some meths from Wicks, yeah. As long as they're not injecting me with the meth, that's all right. Fat Hobbit says it's a nice collection of phones Christopher's got there. Yeah, it is, isn't it? And that Ericsson one's quite unusual as well, that N1970B. Dominic says, is it a tropical weather version like some of the early STC Delta phones for export? I don't know. It's got... I can't see anywhere where there's fins, where there's like gauze over any of the holes in it. No, normally tropical ones have all the little holes and things for getting wires through and grommets and stuff. They normally all have a very fine gauze across to stop creepy crawlies making a home inside the phone. But I can't see any of that on Christopher's phone there. And Christopher says he was told by one of his viewers that the 1970B phones were made in America, but he doesn't believe it. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't think Ericsson had a place in America. I don't think they had a factory in America. They did have factories all over the place, though. They are Swedish, aren't they, American? I mean, Ericsson. Ericsson are a Swedish company, but also a British company as well, because they made some in Britain. So I don't know. We will have to continue and see if we can discover more about that one. But yeah, it's a bit of an oddball, that is. I'm not too sure about that one. Right, one thing I am sure about is this one. This thing here that we started messing with last week. If you remember, this came to us. This was going to be thrown in a skipper to car boot sale before it was rescued by one of our viewers and sent to me. It was in a right state. It got a big crack across the back that we started work on last week, and I've sanded that out now. I don't know if you can. Which camera is it? That one. That crack has almost disappeared. It does now need polishing though. That does, and then I'm fairly sure that'll be pretty invisible. And that we have still got a few problems. It is still all bent on the front here, because it looks like it's been hot at some stage, and the little tab that goes under the base here is bent down. This thing here is bent downwards, so that doesn't look quite right. So we've got to somehow try and bend that back into place. But today, what we thought we'd do today is we will start putting some of the innards into this phone today. So I'll take it apart again. Take the little screw out of the back here, which should have a spring on it but hasn't. I'll take that out in a minute. I'll take the top off, and you'll see where we got to last week, putting that the new belt set in. Right, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to cheat a little bit today, because I've got a load of bits here, you see, that are the bits that we need for that, including I've got another bell, because the other one needs a wire soldered onto it, which I will do, but it's easier to do it out of the phone. So we're going to take this one out that we put in last week, and we're going to put a different one in instead. So that one is coming out, so we'll put that one to one side, and this one, that crucially has got two wires on it, is going in. So let's see if we can get this one fitted in. Oh, I think we're somewhere there. Right, I think we're about there. I'll put these screws back in. Now, no, these are not standard screws, but they seem to fit. We had this last week. These are computer case screws that seem to fit these bells for some reason. And somebody else last week said, are there little plastic washers involved? I've looked into that, and the little plastic washers are indeed on the plastic based phones, the ones with the plastic base, not like this with a metal base, and those little washers go between the base and the bell set to make the bell set stand off the base that little bit, and they're little white plastic washers that go between. But these metal bases have got a bigger sort of impression in the metal to stand off the base without the plastic washers being needed. Right, I think we're back up on the old stream now. I think we're back going again. Sorry about that. I desperately need a new computer here. It just totally freezes up, and I have to switch everything off and start it all up again, which is why it takes ages. What were we saying? Wesley says, have you any thoughts about what to do with the warp in front? I've been looking at it, Wesley. It looks like we're going to be trying to heat it up with a heat gun or something, and should be able to bend it back into shape then, hopefully. I'm led to believe. So we're going to probably give that a try. Right, I'll get back on with what I was doing before I was so rudely interrupted. So that is now held in there. Now, on this other phone that I've got here, I've got a screw here. This screw is crucial. course, I can take that look away for a minute. Oops, I'm dropping things. Right, here we are. So this screw, hopefully, will screw into this hole on here. It'll fit a metal one as well as a plastic one that I've stolen it from. Yeah, it will, because that is the screw that holds in the circuit board. Right, so now I've just got to go over here a minute and have a look and see if I've got any bits for the circuit board. Yeah, I have. Because I've got a bag of these little. Tip out a bag on, I have to get one out. Yeah, and I'm going to need to get one out with a spring on it as well, because these are the little hook things that somehow fit onto here, like that. And then the little spring, there is a little tiny hole in there, and there's a spring on here, so that little spring fits through that hole like that, and that's the thing assembled. Right, so I will put the rest of these. Some have got switches. Have they all got springs, these? Oh, that one's got 2 springs. Yeah, I think they all got springs actually. Cool. So I will put those back in my little box of bits here. More from the box of bits later. Right, so we've got that now. So we've got a fully assembled circuit board now, so that should be able to just drop into there, and with a bit of brute force and ignorance that should fit in there. Oh, sorry, I'm not under the camera. So that is there like that. Right, so now I should be able to drop the screw in here. Right, I might have to move from under the camera a minute so I can see whether. Oh, that's it. It's lined up now. So that screw goes in there. And just that one screw holds the circuit board in. Okie dokie. Right. And while we're about this, we might as well alter the things on the circuit board here. So we're going to alter this so it's as it should be. For a converted phone. So we'll just move that. I'm just moving that along because I'm using. You'll see there's 2 different designs of these, and I think it seems to be more of the thicker square cornered one in here. So I think they're probably what it had originally, this circuit board. So I'm trying to use those ones instead of the others. There's another thin one in there. It's been put in, but I've not got a spare thick one, have I? No. Right, so that's basically where you need to be with circuit. Well, we're going to take that one out as well in a bit and put a resistor in there. Right, so we are now getting there. Right, the chat is going apace at the moment. Dominic says, if Barrow Hill reopens this summer, do you think you'll do an Escape the Shed on it, Andy? I don't know. I hadn't considered going and doing an Escape the Shed at Barrow Hill. I hadn't thought of that, so possibly. Christopher says, did you get a picture of the faulty towers, Basil faulty, Bang 746 on the fire alarm? Yeah, I think we showed that last week. Where it says, what about hot water? Less risk of damaging the finish, maybe. I don't think hot water would get the plastic hot enough, Wesley. I don't think you'd do it with hot water. I think you've got to get the plastic hotter than 100 degrees, probably. I don't know for certain, but yeah, I don't think hot water is going to do it. I might try it. But I've got a feeling it will not be hot enough to make the plastic go bendy. There are various people on YouTube that do it with heat guns. I've looked at a few videos today actually of people on YouTube bending ABS with heat guns, so that could be the way to do it. Right, back to the phone. Right, what bit do I need next? Bells would be good, wouldn't they? So my donor phone is here. So what we now need here is the bell set. Now, for those of you who don't know, the bells in a British telephone are not identical. And as you can see here, one of them is a silver colour, one of them's a brassy colour. That is common. Not always the case, but it is common. And some phones were built like that, so don't worry if you've got them like that. But one bell should be marked 24A, which that one is, on the top there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's marked 24A. And the other should be marked 24B. Okay. So you've got A and B, and I've just discovered a problem now, because I'm fitting it to a metal based phone and it's come from a plastic based phone, and of course these standoff things, these little towers, are part of the base on a plastic phone, but they are a separate item on a metal phone. So I need to find some of those from somewhere before I can fit the bells. So I've now got my bell gongs, but I need those towers, so I'll have to put the gongs to one side for a minute while we do something else. One thing that I do need off this though is this little hook here that the dial fits to, so I can take this little hooky thing off here with a tiny little screw. How tiny that screw is. Right. Come off that one, and it's got to go into that one, hasn't it? Yeah, that one. So it's come off there, and it's got to go. I'll move that one out of the way on there. So that's that. So it's looking a bit more telephone-like, isn't it? Already, it's starting to get there. So what do we need to fit cords-wise on the back? Right, this is where we now go to an image to have a look what cords we need to put on. And to the bell set, one side of the bell set goes to T4, the other side goes to T16. And it doesn't matter which way around these are, but that one will easily go to 4. And while we're doing this, we'll take that nice square matching link out, and we'll put it in here where the non-matching link is, because of course nobody's ever going to see the inside of this, but I'll know it's like it. So I'll put the one that matches in there just to neaten it up a bit. Okay, so and these things that they think you don't take off very often, these, you see, have got a complete circle on. It's not like a fork connector, it's just a complete circle, so you've got to actually take the screw right out and put it through the terminal and screw it back in. So one goes on to there, and the other one I said goes to T16, didn't I? Yep, T16. Although they're purple on my diagram, these bell wires can be any colour. I think they just use whatever colour they had available, whatever they got a bit of wire of. I've seen these all sorts of colours. They're often blue, but not necessarily blue. So don't be caught out with it. They can be other colours. Just make sure it's the 2 wires that go to the bell coils. And the bells, remember, are in series, not parallel. So it goes from the circuit board to one terminal on one coil, then it goes from the other terminal on that coil to one terminal on the second coil, then from the other terminal on the second coil back to the circuit board. Now Jimmy says, did you get the photo I sent the other weekend of a grey phone with all the buttons from a derelict college? That's ringing a vague bell, that is, Jimmy. Yeah, the one with lots of buttons on the top. Yeah, it's from like a small house exchange system type thing. Yeah, I've seen them before. Those phones, I have seen them before. But yeah, there have been some on eBay a little while back. I think they were new old stock, the ones that are on eBay as well. Right, where we going now with this lot? Right. I think a dial might be in order next. So here's dial. Here's a dial. Now this dial is a dirty grotty old dial that's not been restored, so I'm just going to use the wires of this and put them onto this dial that has been restored. 1001, you see. So On this one they're under the cover, so I've got to undo the clamp, so I can get this cover off. And it goes orange, pink, brown, grey, blue. Orange, pink, brown, grey, blue. Now, this dial that I've taken apart is one of the cheapened dial 21s. And it works just like a dial 21, this, except it's all made out of plastic. Did they still call them dial 21s? I have a feeling they called them something else, didn't they? There is something written on it, but I can't read it because of the way the light is. Yeah, no chance of reading it. It's on the edge there and I just can't read it. But that's basically an old dial 21, but a fairly new dial 21. It's one of the nasty cheapo ones that they're made out of plastic in the latter years. So I'm going to put all that back together because we'll find a use for that at some point. But it's just this I want for now. Right, what did I say the order was? Come on, somebody tell me what I said the order was. I've just got to have a little look for it now. Orange, pink, brown, grey, blue. That's what I said, didn't I? So we've got to put them on in that way then. So orange goes under there. Now this is, I think these are GEC dials, and they're not actually dial 21. This is their cheapened dial. Although it's a lot of metal, you will see that all the contacts are on one side. There's not some on one side and some on the other. They're all on one side on this, and this is the dial that we just the most appropriate one because of its age for putting onto it. I can't remember what number these are either, and again I can't read it. GEN it says on it. Under the light there, can I then see it? No, I can't. No, sorry, can't tell you. But it will work. So it's orange, pink, and then what did I say? Brown, orange, pink, brown is next. A bit fiddly these. Brown. And the screws aren't the best either in this one. Orange, pink, brown. And the next one is grey. Which fits under there. And the final one is blue. Which goes in there. So there's the blue one. Not easy to screw down these, but I think we've done it. I think we've cracked it, that. Right. Just having a look at my phone. Right, I'm just going through the chat, what people have been saying in the chat. Dominic says, here's a riddle for you, Andy. What was usually sat by a telephone but is now even harder to find than most telephones? What was usually sat by a telephone but is now even harder to find than most telephones? What was sat by a telephone but is now even harder to find than most telephones? A pencil. I don't know. I've got to scroll down the chat to find out. I'm certainly having trouble finding the item in question. Oh, Wesley says, grey is not the correct GPO parlance. It should be slate. Yeah, I know. Why? Slate grey, I think, is the full name for it. So, I'm half right. Wesley says, is it a personal telephone directory? Yeah, those personal telephone directories, you know those things with the dial on that used to dial a letter of the alphabet and it sprung open so you could write numbers in it and that? They are worth quite a lot of money now. I've seen them sell for more than the phones that probably they sat at the side of. Yeah, Donut says yes. That's correct. The personal telephone directory. Yeah, they are. Yeah, so somebody's put a pen as well. That's harder to find than the phone. Yeah, in this house, let me tell you, pens disappear. But yeah, it's an oddball thing. Those telephone directory things are very hard to find these days. They are very hard to find. Right, so I've got to thread all these wires through under there, basically, because... Or do they go around the side better? No, I think they go under there better, because when that's in place on the bells, that I can't put in place at the minute because I need to find the standoffs for the bells from somewhere, then all these I've got to go onto here. So, right, where do all these go? On there then. Right, so we'll start with orange, that goes to T8. So, here's T8. Where's my orange wire? There it is. Put that through there. I'm going to put it back into there. Orange to T8. Pink to T10. Pink to T10. What would you like to call pink? And Wesley, shall we call it rose? He says he thinks the colour thing goes back to the schematic drawings. Blue and brown would be bull and bird, but green and grey would be both grr, hence grey became slate. I think, says, that's what he was told. That would make sense, wouldn't it, Wesley, that? You're quite right, they do call them slate, but yeah, I think it does go back to those drawings, those paster drawings that you used to get, particularly in the old wooden bell sets and old wooden telephones and things in the 1900s and 1910s, 1920s, that were all marked with bull and grr and that to show you what colours the wires should be. Right, right, grey, sorry, slate to T1. Right, so slate then. Goes up to T1. Where is it? This slate wire that we keep talking about. There it is. So that one goes up to T1. It's 7 o'clock and all is well. I've had a fun day today. I've been out in the garden today. Some would say I've been doing the garden. I would actually, though, admit to it being just a very good excuse to play with my new toy, which is a vintage Howard Bantam rotavator. Bend that up a bit. Right. Blue to T2 and brown to T3. So blue. I'm not a pedant, says Wesley, you can call it grey. But it's slate. Oh dear. YouTube is strange. YouTube will decide if it's grey or slate. I'm sure you're right, Wesley. I'm sure it's slate, technically. And I'm sure your explanation of why it's slate is right as well. Right, and brown to T3, I said, didn't I? Yeah, brown to T3. Now you've got to make sure that none of these connectors touch anything that they shouldn't do. If they're looking like they might, like that one was looking like it might, bend them up a bit so they're out of the way. Right, so that's what we've done there. So right, the dial is now wired up. So what's next then to wire up? What have I got? Is the question now. I've got a handset cord. We could put that on next, couldn't we? Yeah. Let's stick the handset cord on. That is a good one, isn't it? I'm just checking it's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. Complete with the metal thing on the end. That metal bit on the end. Right then, so I'll put the handset cord on next. So, handset cord is relatively easy to do. If we go back to our thing, it goes on T1, 2 and 3, it goes red, green, blue, and then it goes white onto T10. So red, green, blue on the top, white on the bottom, basically. So, and get the right end of the handset cord. That's got, that end, you see, has got two short connectors and two very long ones. You see, can you see that? Two short ones, two very long ones, and that is because that's the end. There you see, that goes in the handset. So we want the other end. So we want red, green, blue. So we want red, the one which we can loosen again. It won't fall out because they were completely round connectors. Of course, these are just spades. So red in T1, green in T2, if this works and I've put it all together, it'll be a miracle, won't it? Christopher says, sent a picture of a railway signal telephone that you saw at Spencer Street. It was definitely not in use because it had no handset in the box. No, it didn't. I've seen the picture. For some reason it didn't get in the batch that we've put on today, and it should have. But I have seen the picture, Christopher, yeah. With the handset removed out of the phone. Red, green, blue. Onto here, together with the brown from the dial. And white onto T10 on the bottom. There. So that's the handset cord, and we can also do a line cord, I guess, while we're doing, can't we? We could do a line cord at the same time. I should think. So I'll find one of those out. Rummage, rummage, rummage. Ta-da! Here's a line cord. A nice grey line cord. Right. People who buy coloured line cords, very expensive coloured line cords off eBay, you know, reproduction coloured line cords, you're doing it wrong. Line cords with a new style plug on the end, like that, were never colour coordinated with the phone. They were always this grey colour. This is a new old stock one, I believe, but they were always this pale grey colour. Any of you ex-telephone engineer people out there, hopefully can confirm that. I'm just cutting the cable tie off. Right, so here we are. Where is it? Here's the end of it. Right, so it's now line cord time. So here's the thing again. So line cord is blue to T6, red to T8 for a start, blue to T6 and red to T8. Okay, see that? Right, so we'll find blue. For a moment, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Blue T6, like so. Red to T8. Jimmy says he's going, he's zooming in a bit. He says, see us next week. Alright, we'll see you next week, Jimmy. Have fun. We'll see you next time. Oh, Wesley says, that is correct about the line cords. They should all be grey. Thank you, Wesley. So all these people that have bought coloured ones off eBay, sorry, but that's wrong. Right, red T8. What else now do we do colour wise then? We do green just gets parked on 15 and white goes on to T18. So we're going to put white onto 18. And green gets parked on 15 because if you were to look on the back of this circuit board, you'd see there's nothing goes to T15. It is just a terminal that doesn't have any circuitry to it on the back. T15. So green can be parked on 15. And I believe 14 and 13 are blank as well. So I'm going to park these extra cores on there. because this line cord that I'm using has got the 2 extra orange and black cores in it, which most don't have, but this one has. So I'm going to put green on there. And I'm going to park orange and black on the next 2, which I think is okay. I think on the back of the circuit board there's nothing on them, these terminals, so that's orange on that one. That's black on that one. I will double check that at some point, but I don't think there's anything on the back of those. Dominic says, if I can, I like to try and find an original cord and then connect a new repro cord at the 52A junction box. Yeah, that's the best way of doing it, actually, Dominic. You could. I had at one stage, I had some very short line cords that were good for that. You know, they were only about maybe that long, these line cords, so you could plug them into the socket and then have the junction box and then have the original cord from your junction box. Right, so we've now got our line cord and our curly cord fitted. Now, for some reason, and I do not know why this is, they used to swap these over. So most of the connectors for the line cord are at that side. Most of the curly cord connections are at this side. Yeah, you can see that. But for some reason, they used to swap them over. Nearly every telephone you get, you find they're crossed over like this. I have no idea why, but that's just the way it is. So that is how the cords wire up. So we're now all wired up on there, except for one crucial thing, which is the 3.3 kilo ohm resistor. Now, you can go onto eBay and you can pay about £3 for one 3.3 kilo ohm resistor and a couple of diodes wired back to back, and they call it a telephone service kit. Don't be so silly. This bag of resistors, and look how many there are in that bag, 150. That bag I think cost me a couple of quid, and it comes from a firm called brightcomponents.co.uk. I don't know if you can see it on the bag there. Can you see it on the bottom there? It's like bright-components.co.uk, and that's where they came from. If I put it under that camera, I can focus that camera on it. Hang on. There you go. Bright Components. Quarter watt, 3.3K resistors. And as you can see, there's a bag full. Okay. Mega. So let's refocus that camera again. Back on the bench, so you can see what we're doing. So yeah, so don't pay silly money for resistors. These all come on like a thing, because with like paper at the ends, because they're basically done like this for inserting using a machine, for inserting into circuit board using a machine. But you can easily just pull them off the paper, and then these go back in the little baggie, hopefully, if I get really lucky. I can get them in the back sometimes. Yeah. Don't know why I'm bothering putting them back in the bag, because they're going to go in that box there as well. So there you go, bag of 3.3 kilo ohm resistors, only 2 or 3 quid for that big bag full. So I've now got one of those, and what we have to do is bend it, and because I've done this a lot, I kind of just intuitively know pretty much where to bend it. But bend the legs around like that, and bend them both around the same way, because that helps when you that will help when you're going to be putting the thing in. So you bend it like that. Can you see that? Okay. Right. And that of course goes between 4 and 5 on the old circuit board, T4 and T5. So I'll just stick that on there now. So I ought to have done this before I put all the wires and things in, didn't I? But I didn't. So what I do is just hook this around those. It's difficult to kind of show you what I'm doing, yeah, but because I bent them both the same way, the little hooks that I made on the end of the legs, when I tighten the screw, but it doesn't try and spit them out again, it tries to wrap them around the screw. So that's in now, that's my resistor in. So we're all good to go now. The componentry of that phone is now all in. So all that remains to be done now is we just need to fit a handset next, and I've got a handset here, so we'll be fitting that next, together with the elements obviously that go in it, one in there and one in there. Now there should be a little springy thing in here as well to stop these rattling around, and I've not got those in at the minute, so I'll have to go and find a couple of those little springy things, because without them, no matter how much you tighten that up, it'll still rattle, which is obviously not what you want. So next week, when we complete all this, hopefully next week, or it might be in 2 weeks actually, but hopefully next week, we'll fit the handset. We will also get around to fitting the bells and this little thing that goes on top of the bells as well. So we'll be doing that and that and that basically. Then that fits in there like that, and then that hooks into there like that. And that is basically how it should be, but of course I've got to fit those bells properly. I've got to get the standoffs that need to go underneath them. But that will basically be the phone completed in terms of its missing parts. So that'll be pretty good. Now let's see if I can, for now, if I can get the cover back on it as it is. Oh, what I also need is a dial bezel for it as well. But there's the cover back on. Let's see if I can stick the little screw in the back. If you've not got the, I ain't got these little screws. If you've not got the spring with them, do not put them in too far, because it is possible to put them in too far and not be able to get them out again. So I'm doing here, see, just holding it on end. You can't really see this on the camera, can you? But I'm just holding it on end, so that hopefully this screw will just find its place and go in. It's all a lot harder when you're trying to hold things under a camera as well. You'll find it's much easier when you don't need to hold it under a camera. Like that, where I'm doing it out of shot now, it's gone in, you see. Right, so that's that. Move those two on the side. Right, move all that lot. That's that. Brill. So I think we've about cracked it there. So that's how it's now looking so far. So I need to fit my handset, and then we should be somewhere near good to go. Right, got loads of line cord now. Just tidying that up a bit, because otherwise I get tangled up in cords and things. Put a bit of tape on that and just hold all that together. Just for now, so it doesn't go crazy everywhere. There we go. Just to hold the line cord together so it doesn't like trip me up and everything. Right, so that's that. So that's the phone. It's coming together, look, it almost looks sensible. So we'll do some more of that next time. Right. I'll put that down here. There. That's that then. Right, where are we? How are we doing? Just see what everybody's been up to in the chat. Dominic says, the only case where I've run into trouble with line cords is my 1968 two-tone avocado trim phone, which was missing its original cord, and nobody seems to make matching line cords. I've settled on a black repo cord as a compromise. Do they not make them for trim phones then, Dominic? I thought they did, but I might be wrong. Dominic says it's not too bad, black one, especially as it normally sit it towards the back of the desk where most of the cord is out of view. Wesley says the 8722 trim phones, the Snowden collection ones, also had grey slate cords, but still with the coil section at the plug end. Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, I think, does my red one have a grey cord? I think it does. But originally, trim phones did have a colour coordinated cord, but was the cord and the little junction box, were they specially made in the special trim phone colours, or were they just the closest colour, particularly the junction box? Was it just the closest colour that from the 706 range and the 746 range? Because I've got a blue trim phone arrived this week, standard two-tone blue one from the late 60s, early 70s, and it's only got the base of the junction box with it. It's not got the top cover, and it appears that it may be Concord blue, that junction box. So and it matches perfectly the line cord. So the two-tone blue trim phones was the darker blue actually Concord blue, the same Concord blue that the other 700 phones, the 706s and 746s are? I don't know if it's exactly the same or not, but it's something I shall be looking into as the week goes on. Right, I think we might be good for getting it all wrapped up a little bit earlier today. Remember, as always, if you want to get in touch with us, the easiest way to do it, if you've not been in touch before, make initial contact with us through the contact us form at andyshed.coldpress.net. That's our website, where you'll find back episodes of the show and all kinds of stuff on there as well. Also remember that if you want to support us and let us do more, because it would be great if we could get enough support and maybe do these streams twice a week instead of once a week, then you can support us on Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/AndysShed. That's patreon.com/AndysShed if you want to support us on there. From as little as $1 a month, which is around about 75-80p, I think, at the minute, and those little bits really do add up. And if you do support us on Patreon, you get your name on the credits, on the closing credits of the episodes, and there will be exclusive content for Patreon members coming very, very soon as well. You'll get first look content very soon. Another way you can support us is through our shop, where you can buy various phone bits. This is having a bit of a makeover at the minute, so excuse it for being a work in progress. andysemporium.coldpress.net is the place to go to find the shop as well. Okay, marvellous. Back to me then. There we go. Right, so we are almost at the end of another show, and it's been It's been an interesting one again, hasn't it? We've got the phone done, and just got a little bit of work to do left on that now. Before we go, though, I must just tell you that this week, and there's going to be a video coming out about this hopefully in the week at some point, if I manage to get it edited in time, an unboxing video. Now, I don't normally do unboxing videos because normally I find them the most boring thing on the face of the earth, unboxing videos. But I bought, I think it's 4 phones this last week, and they arrived. And if you think this phone that we've been restoring tonight is in bad condition, wait until you see this unboxing video of these other 4. I bought them because I thought there was one particular phone in it that was quite rare, but they are in such a state you wouldn't believe the state they are in. It looks like they've been buried in a garden somewhere. It really does. They are covered in muck and mud and soil and and stuff. But I've gone through them, and I've found, as I've been going through them, that at least 2 of them are actually quite rare. Not just one of them, but 2 of them. Might be more about that on next week as well. But watch out for that unboxing video of those. Hopefully that will be coming out some point during the week. Thanks to everybody who has taken part in the chat again here today. Thanks to Wesley, Dominic, Fat Hobbit, Christopher 2000. Who else has been on? Jimmy's been here, hasn't he? If I've missed you off, I'm sorry. If I've missed your name off the list there, I'm sorry. But thanks to everybody who has taken part in this chat thing here again. If you've got any questions or anything that you want to know the answer to, and you're watching this after the event perhaps, then leave it in the comments somewhere below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. And if you've got a phone that you want restoring, then I do restore phones for people. As I said before, get in touch, andyshed.corepress.net. I did one for a lady called Jo last week. Jo's got her phone back now, and she says it's working brilliantly. So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Jo, if you're watching this. So with that, I will say thanks for watching. Dominic says, have you got a phone that's worse than this one? And yes, Dominic, yes. Wait till you see them. Wait till you see them. You won't believe how bad they are. Christopher says, Andy, I see you've got 706 phone in the background. Have I? Have I really? Oh yes, I have. That's one of the grotty phones. I'm not going to pick it up because my hands will get dirty. But this, alright, I will pick it up, I'll show you. This is one of the grotty phones that's arrived. Like I say, it's going to be an unboxing video all about this week. Well, I'll just give you a quick look at this. Can you see? Can you see the state of it? All covered in paint and bird droppings and God knows what. Oh, it feels horrible. Well, like I say, there's an unboxing video where you'll see a bit more of that. Coming up in the week. If you've got a phone that's worse, we want a picture of it. Send us a photo if you've got one that's worse. handyshed.coldpress.net is the way to initially get in touch. Right, that really is about it, I think. Just check on the chat before I go. Christopher says, I always keep the original line cords and junction boxes on my 706 and 746 telephones. I just hardwire RJ11 line cords. to the junction box and get the phones working on the Australian phone system. Yeah, that's as good a way as any of doing it. In fact, that's probably the best way of doing it, actually, Christopher. Christopher says, is that an N1900? You know something, Christopher? I don't know. I've not. It's so grotty, I can't see any markings underneath it yet. But we're going to, let's say, there's going to be an unboxing video coming out about it. And then there's going to be a restoration video. We're not going to restore that one live because I don't think we'll be able to do it live. But there will be a restoration video about that coming out as well. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, says Dominic. Yeah, quite. My hands feel horrible now. Dominic says, make sure you use the hand sanitizer after that. Yeah, yeah, God knows what I've got from that. Oh, Penfold50 is here. Hi, Penfold50. It says, have you got a hook receiver AH for the watch receiver for a 714? Watch receiver, right. Watch receiver for a 714. Is that watch receiver like what they call a mother-in-law? A mother-in-law handset, like a little round thing that sort of hooks on the back of the phone. Is that what you're on about? For a 714 though. I don't know if I've got one, to be honest, Penfold, because I can't visualise quite what it is that in my head. So I'll go away and do a bit of a research. Tune in next week, and I'll let you know if I've got one or not. Or drop me, just do a favour and send me a thing to the website. Go to andyshed.corepress.net and drop me a message with what you're looking for, please, so I don't forget, because otherwise I'm likely to forget during the week, and I'll have a rummage and see what I can find. Christopher says, do you know the N1900 phone come out? Do you mean, do I know when the video is coming out? No, I've got no idea at the minute. I've got to make it yet. Penfold says, yeah, it's a separate earpiece that he's on about. I don't think I have got one. I don't think I have got one. That's a very, very rare item that you're looking for there. I wasn't aware that they fitted those separate earpieces to wall phones. I thought they were only sort of tagged onto the back of 706s and possibly 746s. I didn't know this. How do they fit them to a wall phone? They must hang on the side then, do they? But yeah, I'm intrigued now. I shall look into that, because I didn't know they put them on wall phones. They are a very, very rare thing. The only thing I can suggest, if you can't find one, is have a look at French phones, because French phones do often have these watch receivers. It was a much more common thing to have them fitted to your phone in France than it was in the UK. And French telephones of the equivalent era to sort of 706 or 746s do quite regularly have them fitted. But they're very rare. The British version is very rare. Christopher said, do you know when the N1900 phones were made? Same time as the 706s, Christopher. Same sort of era. 1960s, basically. Possibly into the early 1970s, but say 1960s and you'll be somewhere around about right. If you look inside one, look on the capacitor, you might find a date stamped on the capacitor if you haven't got any other way of dating it, and that might be the way to find the date. Also look inside the handset, because the elements inside the handset might be dated as well. Right, it's time for me to go, I think, and wash my hands, as I said. Thanks to everybody for joining in this week. We'll be back next week. I normally say same time, same place, but we were a little bit late this week, weren't we? We started at 6:10 instead of 6 o'clock. Hopefully, we'll be on time at 6 o'clock next week. And in the meantime, watch out for little updates and postings. Because we've hit that magic 1,000 subscriber mark, I can now do little posts of stills and things during the week. So if I'm doing anything interesting during the week, I will put a still up for you of what we're doing. Penfold says the watch receivers on the wall phones were fitted under the phone by the cord entry point. So I've learnt something there. I didn't know that. I didn't know they fitted onto all phones. That's very, very interesting. Right, until next week, we will see you all very, very soon. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you, all being well, 6 o'clock next Sunday. Don't forget, hopefully, an unboxing video of that grotty thing coming out during the week. But for me, for now, see you soon. Bye for now.